sharks to come to food. No, there's nothing wrong with these sharks' eyes. When they're dangerous is when they can't see so well.
There's nothing like a swim in the surf at dusk or dawn, but this is precisely when sharks are most likely to be hunting. In low light, sharks can't rely on their eyes to identify prey, which means they could end up confusing humans for something they want to eat. Even when the light's okay, it's not a good idea to confuse sharks by wearing jewellery or shiny watches. To them, the glint is just like the shimmer of a fish. Now to test the aquarium shark's hearing or sense of vibration.
Which underwater is pretty much the same thing. This is a coconut rattle, used by South Pacific fishermen as a shark attractor. By shaking the rattle, I'm producing pressure waves in the water.
Another caution: don't go swimming with your dog. Its erratic movements have about the same effect as the coconut rattle.
Sharks have one sense that we don't have, and it's a very strong one. They can detect electricity, something all creatures produce just by being alive. I'm hooking up this board so that we can run a charge through it. Now I'm backing off because I don't want to be near it when it's switched on. Not because of electricity, because of the sharks. The current's on. The electroreceptors in the sharks' snouts pick up the signals, and they swarm down to see what kind of animal is broadcasting. We turn it up, and they get more and more excited. So let's try to make this feeding situation even more realistic. A soup of fish blood and oil. They're going ballistic. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that gadget now.
Another lesson: feeding sharks can bite anything that comes near them. Shoals of fish can be a sign there's hunting sharks nearby. Stay clear.
If I was still near that apparatus, those sharks could chop me to pieces. But again, it's because they're confused. They're getting blasts of signals and potential food. If a person went among them now, even though people aren't their usual prey, they'd get savaged.
I think I've learned enough about bull sharks to encounter them in the open ocean. The best place in the world to do that is Cuba. Off the coast here, there's a huge gathering of breeding bull sharks, and that's where I'm headed. Why does nearly every expert on bull sharks seem to be called Eric? Now I'm meeting Eric Fernandez Misar.
Hello, must be Eric.
How are you, Nigel?
Nice to see you. And these are the sharks we're going to be meeting. So Eric, we're going to be feeding adult bull sharks by hand. I mean, no chainmail gloves?
No, they are a big bull sharks and they are powerful and they can take all the arm full.
So take the whole arm off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, let's go.
The sharks are over 80 feet down. And the deeper we go, the more vividly I remember how big bull sharks are. And what one nip did to Eric Ritter's leg. Here's a friendly face. A green moray eel. These have a bite, but like sharks, they only tend to use it on people if they're confused or startled. This one just wants a piece of fish. Somehow that's made me feel a little better. I fed something and my hand's still here. The bull sharks are assembling for dinner. They're huge. She's the size of the one in the Oklahoma Aquarium, but this is the open ocean, and she's under nobody's control but her own. The truth is, they could attack us at any time if they wanted to, but we just have to trust them not to. Remember what Cuban Eric said about the chainmail gloves that people use when feeding other kinds of sharks? With a bull shark, there's no point in them. If it wanted to, it could just rip your arm off. But these are being surprisingly gentle when they take the food. Please, sharks, when it's my turn, be gentle with me too. They're trusted implicitly by Cuban Eric. He barely flinches, however close they get. Which is fine, but it's my turn to feed them now. And I have to summon up the same kind of trust. That's kind of hard with my heart beating like this. This is nerve-wracking. I'm just about to stick a fish in a bull shark's mouth. But they seem a little nervous of a strange Englishman in a pink mask. There. Eric Ritter would be proud of me. I did it. Look, I'll do it again. This confirms what I've learned about bull sharks. They may be the biggest killers and maimers in sharkdom, but that's because they can get confused. Anyway, saying they're the biggest killers isn't saying a lot. In 2003, sharks of all species killed only 4 people, although bulls probably caused several deaths in remote parts of the world that went unreported. That's why most scientists are confident they're the world's deadliest shark. But it's clear that even an attack from a bull is unbelievably rare. So why was Eric bitter?
Eric, I mean, 18 months ago, it happened over there in the Bahamas. I mean, it's so heartwarming to see. Leg looks pretty good now. You're even running on it.
Yeah, I started running again, and I'm up to about an hour. Slow, I have to say. It's a funny way of running, but yeah, I run again.
I mean, I'm never going to forget the blood. We'll talk about that in a minute, but what I'll remember is your bravery. I mean, you were going in and out of consciousness, but as soon as you were out of the water, you said, by the time the year's out, I'm going to be back in the water with those bull sharks. And even after months in hospital, you did it.
I don't remember that anymore, but yeah, it's true. About 5 months later, I jumped in my first dive, actually the very same spot where I got bitten to find closure. And it was an incredible feeling, and since then I even feel much closer to these animals than I ever did before.
What did go wrong? You'd done that hundreds of times before. There was clear water, I wasn't moving around, there was no sediment, the shark wasn't trapped between the cameraman and you. What went wrong?
Well, actually, two things went wrong. One problem was that we allowed the shark to come in that close. Once a shark is aware or realizes that the thing in front of him is aware of its presence, the shark would have reacted. So a slight turn from my side would have made all the difference in the world. The second thing was we're in the water for a long time. The sharks were comfortable with us. And there were these little food particles that came down with the current, so that attached, these food particles were on our legs. So the shark was comfortable, they still smelled it, so yeah, sooner or later these sharks wanted to know, what the heck are these people? What is this?
We were filming in slow motion, the bite was slowed down three times. It looked very gentle.
Yeah, what we did, it's called an exploratory bite. She wanted to get an idea, because we smelled like something, maybe we are palatable, maybe not. It was painful, but not to the point that it was excruciating. The second bite was when she really tried to carry me into deeper water or bite through my leg.
You were suddenly talking to me, you let out a cry, and you're lifted out of the water. I mean, this was an 8-foot, 350-pound shark lifting a 200-pound man out of the water, and you were dragged away. You were in the air. What was happening?
Her teeth were stuck in my shin bone, so she had the whole leg in her mouth. Then I realized I had to react, and I knew that something's gonna give, and yeah, it was my calf. A big puppy, and she really got a she got a good chunk out of me.
There was 100 square yards of blood in the water. You lost 50% of your blood.
50% was gone, so normally that's fatal, and for whatever reason it was not my time. Yeah, I was a lucky camper.
You know, why didn't those sharks frenzy? I mean, there was all your blood in the water. The assistant cameraman, James York, jumped in to help you out. I was there, could have attacked both of us, could have gone in to attack you again.
This is one of these old myths, you know, sharks do this, sharks do that. But we humans are not part of their food system, so they don't know what human blood is. The evolution did not focus on human blood. So accident showed us quite a few things, or proved that what we're saying all these years, the sharks don't go for human blood. They're not vicious animals. They don't attack for the sake of attacking. We all saw that in this accident.
It's so great to see you. One day
Thanks.
we'll go for a jog.
Yeah, we could.
Bull sharks. I followed them from the nursery to adulthood. They're not ferocious, just a little temperamental. They don't like confusion or surprises, and what they can't see well, they assume to be all right to eat. If they're the worst of sharks, then the only reason to worry about sharks at all is to worry about their welfare. The sea would be a poorer place without them.